Welcome back. Today we're beginning a multi-part video on hit reactions. Not sure exactly how many videos there's going to be yet in this series, but we will see. We're going to start today looking at hit reactions with gameplay abilities. Okay, so as always, we're going to download the latest version of the project, and I've got it here. I have followed all of these setup instructions. Well, maybe not all of them yet. I still need to go here and generate Visual Studio project files. And then we'll open up that solution. Okay, we're going to open that in Visual Studio 2019. We're going to open up source folder here. We're not going to modify the C++ yet, but we will be later. And so we're going to be playing around with this LMA MMO character .h. So we'll be modifying this later. For now, we're going to start in the editor. We're going to do it first in BP, and then we're going to come back and make some refinements in C++ that will just give us a lot more flexibility, and the way I personally do it in all of my projects. I'll show you why it works well. I should have precompiled it. I forgot I hadn't done that yet. It should only take a minute, though. There we go. Okay, so we're using Paragon Serif, and we're going to go take a look at what hit reaction animations are available to us. I'm going to go into Paragon Serif, and we're going to find, I think it's under Heroes, Serif, Animations. Here we go. And let's try hit. Okay, so we have a hit reaction front, a hit reaction back, a hit reaction left, and a hit reaction right. This is perfect. Let's take a look at one of the hit reactions here. Okay. Not too bad. Okay. So, first thing we're going to do is, in case we have to modify these, we are going to, let's see, asset actions, no, where is it here? I usually just drag them. That's what we'll do. I was hoping I could cut them, but I don't see it right now. So we're going to come over to our Serif animations. Oh yeah, we're not going to be able to drag them. Anyway, let's come back here, grab these, Control X. Is that going to work? Oh no, there's a move. That's how we do it. Let's see. I don't see the move though. Does not want to do them all at once. I will just drag it to the folder. Okay. Serif animations, and we're going to move them there. Okay. That's because we keep replacing the content every time, and so we got to make sure that if we modify anything, that the correct content is over here, because the Paragon Serif is going to get deleted and re-added in every single video. Okay, so now we're going to want to make a montage. We're going to start with just the front hit animation. So we're going to choose, no, we want to choose the one that's in the MMO folder. There it is. Underscore hit reaction front. And we're going to go over here. Yeah. Forgot about this one. So, what I do, I had the same problem when I was doing. So what we do is we find the hit reaction ones here, and the problem is they're all pointed to the wrong skeleton. So what I've been doing every time to get around this, and this usually works, is I come find the skeleton. Let's see. No. Thought it was in here. Seraph. The character, the anim blueprint. Aim offsets animation. Skeleton's not there. Oh! Why is it not there? Hold on, let me go take a look. I bet it's not there because this one didn't actually get copied from a new one. It actually got copied from the previous project. But let me take a look at reaction right. So it will tell us, when we go to these, and we go to the skeleton, it will tell us where it's pointed to. It's pointed to game, Paragon, Seraph, characters, Seraph, heroes, Seraph, meshes. Meshes, there we go. Okay, cool. So then what I do is I dump this, and I say replace with the one in MMO. And I do a replace references. Yes, I want to change them all. And basically what it's doing is we have two locations of the skeleton, and it's replacing, and we'll save selected, and it's replacing the ones with it. So now when we come back to our animations, and we find our hit reaction, now we go to the skeleton. See, now it's pointed to the MMO. So that's actually the easiest way I've found to retarget. If it's the same skeleton that you're moving it from to, the retarget thing is a pain, because you often end up introducing air when you do it that way. Whereas with this method, it's just a straight copy. Again, that only works if the skeletons are exactly the same. In this case, they're the exact same skeleton. We just had two copies with some animations pointed to one and some animations pointed to the other. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to our montage. Now, when I go to the asset browser and type in hit, they'll be available. And the reason that it works that way is that there's a skeleton attached to this editor, and it's only showing you what's attached to the same skeleton you have open. So every time you open an animation editor, it's all pointed to a certain skeleton. So you can always cursor over that and see which skeleton it's pointed to, but you're only going to be able to work with ones from that exact same skeleton, even if the other skeleton is exactly the same. Okay, so we're going to drag in this, and let's put it for now. We may change this later, but let's switch slot to full body. And you'll see they have a new UI in 4.2.5 for the animation editor. I'm still getting used to it, but I think it's nice. Okay, so we now have our hit react front. It's not going to play in preview, but that's fine. It always does that when you switch the slot. We will review, though, just so we can see what's going on here, that I put it to the full body slot. And so if we go over to our anim graph, you can see that the full body gets played last. So that should be good. If something's playing the upper body, the full body is going to override it. Later we may create a specific slot just for hit reactions, but that'll be a future video. Okay, so now we want to create a gameplay ability. We're coming to our abilities, and we're going to create a new folder, and we're going to call it hit reactions. And we're going to need multiple, but we don't want to duplicate the ability. So what we want to do is create a template. So we're going to go into Gameplay Ability Blueprint. We want to make sure we use the OWS Gameplay Ability. Okay, and we're going to call this GA Gameplay Ability Hit Reaction _ template. So we're going to build the template here. So before we start building it out here, let's take a look at these. We do not need it instanced per execution because you can only be playing one hit reaction per actor at a time. Server respects remote ability to cancel. No. Trigger instance ability. That is actually good on this one. There's really no way it's not going to hit the end ability, but just in case, it'll let it replay automatically. Dangerous on local predicted, but since this is actually going to be a server initiated, that's fine. It's just a safety. And the net security policy is that yeah. See, server controls both execution and termination of this ability. A client making any requests will be ignored. You'll notice they changed that in 4.2.5. They changed the renaming on what they're calling them and a little bit of UI there. Okay, so we are going to commit the ability. We probably don't need that at this point. However, it's possible that at some point we are going to use the cooldown or the cost, potentially, and so I'm going to leave that in there. Then we are going to use, let's see, play montage and wait, OWS play montage and wait. It's just a slightly different version than the original. I add some stuff in for anim notify, which we're not going to use, so either would be fine. Hit reaction. Okay, now we need a montage to play. Let's give ourselves some room. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to parameterize. So we're going to say promote to variable. And we're going to change this to montage to play. And we're going to come over here and make it public. Okay, and we're going to drag off the rate. Montage, nope, promote to variable. Montage rate. We do want to stop it when the ability ends, but we're not going to end the ability until it stops. I'm going to drag completed, blend out, interrupted, cancel. Actually, do not want the blend out. Let's not do that. And notify there's none set. We're not using that. Okay, so there's our template ability, and we have made both of these public. We're now going to create a child blueprint, and we're going to call it GA hit reaction front. And we're going to set the montage to play to hit reaction front. And it'll automatically pull over the defaults, so that's all good. Later we'll get into the tags and some of the other stuff, but we're not going to do that in this video. That's a pain, those won't go away. Okay, and we don't have to add anything because, as you can see, well, this is actually what I wanted it to do, to go to the data-only version, but as you can see, it's just using the blueprint that was the template. So, what we can now do is we can go in and we can find our blueprints for our character, which is going to be blueprint main, and we're interested in the player character, but we actually want to set this up on the base character so that these hit reactions can be shared between enemy mobs and players. It's all using the same thing. So we're going to use base character. And we are going to go to our event graph. and we are going to say when the character on take damage. Okay, and then we only want this to happen on the server side. Remember, it was server initiated, so we're going to say off. And we're going to run on authority. And we're going to say try activate ability by class. We're going to fix this later, but we're going to get it working first. So we're just going to directly call it reaction front on take damage. Okay. And remember that this is not, so if we go into class defaults, anything that's set up on these abilities here will automatically be granted. This one is not yet. And so we're going to have to grant it ourselves. So what I like to do is I like to go here and add a function called grant default abilities. And let's see if there's actually any that we want to drag into that. We'll come up here. Let's see, begin play. Oh. I guess there's not. Because we do it, let's take a look at, we probably do it in player character. Yeah, so we grant all the abilities here in the player character. But this one, actually, we want to grant earlier than that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it in the begin play over in here. So we only want to do it on the server side. And we want to do grant ability. Reaction from, oh, no. So I'm going to copy, I'm cutting that. I want to actually put it in here so we can organize them a little bit better. And then we'll just call this. So we won't clutter this up as much. Okay, so now I'm going to, we've got it granted, and we've got it running here. So let's give it a try. Load up the map. So in this case, what's going to happen is that we're going to be letting the AI hit us and see if it runs the hit reaction. And there's a couple of reasons it might not, but we'll take a look. Okay, we made a mistake. We got to change this net mode from play offline to play as client. Anytime you see the health bar over your character, you know that that has not been set properly. I've noticed this guy, the AI, is not very good. It's hard to get him to notice me. Okay, it's not working. So, the reason it's not actually working is a timing issue. Oh, that was a mistake. Start it back up. So let me show you what the problem is. So you'll notice, and we've never fixed this. We should at some point, but we haven't fixed this, is that we're using a delay as a way to make sure the ability system runs before it grants the abilities. The best way to do it would actually be to hook the, not that one. ODBS attribute initialization complete would be ideal. So let's go back over, I copied that. Let's see if we can come over here. And that's a tick. I guess we'll come down here. Let's give it a try. So we're now going to move this, cutting it down here. This will make sure that it runs after the attribute system has completely initialized. Rather than using a delay. Okay. Let's see what the mob's mad about. Did we reuse? So this one inherits from it, but potentially could get us in trouble. Yes. Grant default abilities. Okay. So what we're going to do, as our naming sense here has made it upset. So because we're in grant R base, to make sure that it knows that it's the one here and not the one over in the other. Blueprints doesn't really support inheritance on method names. We might just have to open this up. Wait, what? Oh, because it was the same, it renamed the other one? Wow. I had never seen it do that before. Okay. Wow. Doing it a little bit different than I did in my test sample, and I did not run into this issue. So we're going to do grant mob default abilities. A reason to make your names specific. And we're going to cut this one here, paste it here. And now we're going to dump this one, which would be, yeah, there we go. And then we'll come here. I didn't really have enough room. And we'll drop in our mob default abilities. And then we should still get the same result. This one we actually did on event possessed, which is kind of interesting. It should be late enough in the process. It was working, I think. We'll find out. If he can't swing and hit us, we'll know we've got a problem. No, we're over here. We need to work on our AI. Still not calling it. Okay. Let's go. Man, why do I keep hitting that X? Okay. So let's go to back to our base character. And I'm going to first make sure this is getting called. We're going to do print string. We're going to call it the name of grant R base default abilities. So I want to make sure that's getting called. And then you're going to go here. And this actually tells us whether it was able to activate or not, which is kind of cool. So what we'll do, grab off an append, and we'll say hit reaction ability, and then we'll drag off the true or false, right? So if we see this being false, it usually means that it wasn't granted. That's the number one reason you usually see that. Let's take a look. The other reason would be that it didn't even make it to the take damage. It should, though. Yeah, hit reaction ability false. Interesting. Okay. So, it got to it, but it did not grant it. So maybe this is not late enough. Surprising. It should be. Let's try the version we used before, the on possess. Actually, that's only from the AI one. Okay, let's see what other, we have an event. Oh, event possessed. We already have it. Okay. So I'm cutting that with Control X. And we're going to come here and we're going to say is on the is mob controlled. Actually, we want it to do it for both. So we're actually going to paste that. In between. But to get the same result that we got on the other one, we're actually going to want to hook up the remote to skip that. So we don't lose whatever that was doing. Let's see if that gives us a different result. I did set the, I did set it in here, right? Current base, GA hit reaction. Okay. Just making sure. Sometimes it can be the simplest thing. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to work on the AI. He should hear me running here and turn around and whack me. And he should definitely see me here. It's like he's only noticing it. Oh, there we go. So that was it. It was just we weren't granting it at the right time. Okay, so there's our hit reaction. We're getting hit, and it's reacting. Okay, of course it's only reacting in one direction, and I don't love some of this way that we set it up. So let me talk about a few of the potential problems here. So first of all, in our grant-based default abilities, we're granting a specific hit reaction. Well, that's for Seraph, right? So that's a problem because what about the mob, right? If we were to hit the mob right now, it would not work because it's playing a montage on Seraph and not on the rampage, I guess it is. So that is a problem. So we need to generalize this into a variable that we can set per character type. Now we could do that with a blueprint variable, but that's not what we want to do. There's some problems with that. So what we're going, and the same here. We hard-coded this one too, right? So that's not good. So we're going to dump this. We don't need that anymore. But if your gameplay ability isn't playing at some point, it's almost always that you're hitting this spot and this thing's returning false. So it's always good to print that out. And usually when it's false, it's either because a condition to run the ability is not met, like a gameplay tag or if it can't activate. But most of the time, it's just that the ability isn't granted. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to close this down. We don't want to save those. And we're going to come here in our LMA MMO character.h. We are going to add some variables, some properties. So we're going to do uProperty. We are going to do blueprint read write. I'll show you where I can get a list of these. Edit anywhere. And we're going to put it in a category equals abilities. So here I have the property specifiers. So if you're wondering what any of these do, you can come here. Here's the blueprint read write we used. And here is the edit anywhere. So those are the two that we use. Now we're going to use something called T subclass of. So this is actually, a lot of times you'll use a U class pointer. So every class in UE4 has this, inherits from this U class. It's like the base object. It's like a U object, basically. It's like the base. And U class is something that points to a U object. And there's a pointer. But you don't want to use that one. What you want to use instead is called T subclass of, and it's type safe. So you can say T subclass of, in this case it's U damage type. And it makes sure that in the drop-down that you can only select ones that are either U damage type or a child of U damage type. Okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to create a T subclass of, and it's a template, so we're going to put in the template UOWS gameplay ability. So it will make sure that you can choose a UOWS gameplay ability or a child thereof. So picking a gameplay ability, a U gameplay ability, would not work in this case, which is fine because we use the UOWS gameplay ability. And it's not going to know what that is. So we're going to have to come up here and you're going to have to include OWS gameplay ability.h. That's the header file. Okay, and then we are going to call this hit reaction front. We are going to copy this 4 times. We're going to do front, back, left, and right. We're not going to build all of these in this video, but we will eventually, so we're going to build them all now. And then we're going to hit play. It's going to compile it. And then I'll show you what this adds. And this is the way that we actually do all the abilities in our game. So what you often want to do is you want to go and generalize your game's ability structure. And then you can create one of these variables specifically for, as a slot for that in your generalized system. And then what you can do is you can actually come over to the specific ones, so not the R-based character, but we come over to player character, and we go to class defaults, and you'll see here they are under abilities. This is the same way that I did the ability 1 through 22 and weapon 1, 2, but those are just very generic for people who aren't using C++. They had to have something. But I actually recommend going and creating, and you can even create your own section to get it separate from these other abilities, but create your own ability slots, right? And then you can work with those as slots rather than specific abilities, which is what we're going to do in a second here. So we're going to come over here and we're going to pick G hit reaction front. Okay. We're going to come back to our base character. And remember there's 2 places they were hard-coded. One of them's right here. So we're going to do, we called it hit reaction front. You'll see it's the purple circle, which is the class type, which was the T subclass of. And now it's going to play whatever that was for the specific one. So we can now set one of them for Seraph, and we can set another one for Rampage, which we'll do in a future video. And it's saying, hey, play that slot rather than play that specific ability. It allows us to make it more generic and more flexible. Now we also, in our granting, we also want to make sure that we grant whichever one is set. So hit reaction front. Okay. And so because player character inherits from our base character and player character is the one we have set up in our game mode, it's going to use the defaults from this one even though the code is in here. So let's give it a try. So if it's working correctly, we will see the hit reaction played. Here, mob. Oh, I was in the backside. And there we go. It's still being played. Cool. So that is where we are going to stop this video. In future videos, we're going to take a look at doing the hit reactions for front, back, left, and right. Right? So right now, I'll just get him to hit us. He's going to hit us on the side. You see? It still plays, even if he hits us from behind. You see? That's not good. So we're going to play around with that so that we can get all 4 hit directions. Then we'll work on hooking up the hit reactions so that when I hit the mob, it plays it, which you saw. There was no hit reaction there. And then we're going to look at the effects of lag and talk about server initiated versus client initiated and client predictive, and we're going to do some stuff around that. But for now, that's where we're going to end. So until next time, see ya.